Hola, chat. ¿Cómo está? I had to start it a little bit earlier. I know my video is still running. But in order to raid myself... Hola, chat. ¿Cómo está? In order to raid myself, I have to get the stream running while the other video is still playing. So, welcome. Welcome here. The raiders are going to pop up. I need to thank Romanian TV for raiding my channel. Thank you so much. Means a lot. I'm going to try to see whether or not this is a good thing to do. Like premiere one of my videos on my main channel. And then have the channel redirect the viewers here. It's also an interesting topic. I think you guys will appreciate it. Apparently, the Prince of the United Kingdom has some bizarre interests. Let's put it like that. He seems to be cocking Meghan Markle with more progressive women. Like Meghan Markle was actually described by the British press as being a more conservative wife, which is incapable of satisfying the prince's desires. So we're going to talk about that. Utrique Paratus, welcome to the channel. And again, thank you Romanian TV for the raid. So we're going to talk about that. In the meantime, before we get to that, I would like to suggest that someone should make a Christian movie. I mean, there is so much footage there. There is no fucking way you wouldn't be able to do it. We live in an age where everything is a remake, a remaster, a sequel, a prequel. Look, you have the opportunity of doing something original. I guarantee to you, if done properly, it can win the Oscar. I mean, there is so much rich drama there. If a beautiful mind managed to get the Oscar, so can a Christian movie. You can even have some animation going on, like you had in The Boys with Noir, where he saw the cartoons. I mean, it would be such an amazing film, chat. It would be such an amazing film. You can even have like a trilogy. You can have like the first part where he is young and with the parents. Then the second part where he transitions and becomes Christine Chandler. It would be such a great masterpiece if done properly. And I think it can be done properly. Like, there's no way. Of course, if it's done by Netflix, I wouldn't even mind if they find a black actor to play as Chris. Perfectly fine, you know, I'm not against it. I mean, this is one of the situations where it's more about the emotions, like the human connection, the drama, rather than the image of Chris. Like, that's fine. So yes, Sonichu movie? No, like that would be a spin-off, the Sonichu movie. No, I'm not interested in that. I am interested in the rich philosophical drama that would have involving Chris. All right, so with that out of the way, there was also another news which escaped my grasp. I do not believe that this is a thing. Like, I had to look at it twice. And I noticed, like, holy shit, this is actually real. Like, this actually happened. So, let me just put this on the screen. Give me a second so I can give you guys a better view of what's going on. Now, how many of you remember, as the YouTube like to call him, Black Hitler? So there was this black identitarian, supremacist, communist, segregationist individual by the name of Gazi Kodo. And he was a magician. He was a magician because he managed to keep his YouTube channel despite breaking the terms of service every single video. I mean, there was no way he could talk about a white person without having at least 3 slurs within the same sentence. So, I think I even made a video response to him. Turns out he got arrested. Now, why did he get arrested? Well, the story as I mentioned, he used to be a he was a communist, right? He is a communist, I think. Like, I don't think he actually dropped the identity. So he's still a communist. And what dragged my attention is that I think he got a couple of people and they went into the mountains wanting to start a communist commune. And I was like, holy shit, like, that's a nice endeavor. Maybe they want to be like the Amish or something. Well, okay, well, go on. Turns out that the project failed. They weren't very good farmers. They didn't really know how to cultivate the land. So when it failed, he started doing struggle session with the members of the community, demanding that they explain themselves why it failed and whatnot. And then he started a cult. He started a cult by getting homeless people into his house, spreading monkeypox upon them. I think like one or two actually got sick with it. Entertained sexual relations with like homeless young men. And was keeping them prisoners. Because at one point, one of them called the cops. And when the cops arrived, apparently one of these individuals committed suicide. I mean, it is what it is. I gotta say, who could have seen this coming? But it's interesting because when I first got exposed to this gentleman was like any other YouTuber, like he didn't look that different than any other YouTuber. So that's how things moved on, things evolve fast on the internet. I believe it was, like 3, maybe 4 years going from YouTuber into a cult leader. He didn't seem that charismatic, granted. Like, I guess it goes to show that anyone can be a cult leader. Like, if you really want to, you can be it. He wasn't that charismatic, I swear to you. Like, you can still see his videos. I don't know if YouTube took them down. Like, this is something that I don't appreciate with social media. Like, the moment someone commits a crime that gets into the news, they take down their channel and, like, all of the things. And it's like, why? Why? I mean, it's a good opportunity to watch for signs, I guess. Like, you can look like, okay, this is the type of individual that you shouldn't be like. They were squatting on land that wasn't theirs. I thought they bought the land. So they were squatting on land that wasn't there. I see. Okay. Well, that wasn't mentioned in the newspaper I read, but alright. I do believe you. Hello, Wardoj. How's it going? So, Meghan frickin' Markle, chat. Meghan frickin' Markle and Prince Harry. Let's see. So, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle. There we go. I even have... Hold on. I made the meme about it. Let me see if I can find... Give me a second. I'll show you the meme that I made. I'm proud of it, chat. I don't make that many memes. Usually I just steal them from other people. But this one's mine. Okay, I made this one. And I'm very proud of it. So, the last picture that I seen, like this was so cringe. It's almost like there's two ways of looking at it, right? Either his entire masculinity was drained and he is hiding behind his wife, or he is a hairstylist and is showing the woman what he did to her braids. It's like, are you happy? Are you comfortable? Is this good? Like, is that... So I did a meme, and I think this is a lot better, chat. I think this is a lot better, right? Like, the hairstylist is showing, it's like, hey. By the way, don't judge my my meme ability. I don't know how to Photoshop, okay? Shut the fuck up. V, a strange thing has happened. I think I found her. Her being who? Iraqi oil money. Yeah. But anyway, right, so I guess like what they're trying to say is that this is the progressive family, right? Like the roles, the gender roles are reversed, right? They're not equal. They're not holding hands. They're not sitting one next to another. Is the woman is in front. And this is like a editorial decision. Like the photographers want this, right? But the interesting thing, and why a lot of people notice this, is that this is the actual relationship. He had several hobbies, like for example hunting, and I think like she's a vegan or something, and told him not to go hunt, so he had to sell his guns. He got separated from his family. He even his tea, like there was an article saying that she controls his tea intake, and as a British person, that's very bizarre. And there were like a lot of things where you noticed it's like, dude, like this woman must have the golden vagina. Like if you're willing to give up so many hobbies and so many things you like, and you know, like take these types of photos, and it's like it's very weird. But now that we look at it in hindsight, we come to the conclusion that maybe he likes this. Like maybe this is something that he enjoys, being dominated by a strong, empowered woman. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Except for the fact that it seems that Meghan Markle, while she is strong and empowered, she's not as strong and as empowered as Mr. Harry would like her to be. Because the newspapers have considered her to be a conservative wife, unable to satisfy his particular kinks. 10 units of Poland's 15% inflation currency. Wow, only 15%? Holy shit, I need to move to Poland. Like, you guys have your economy under control. So, Prince of Pegging was trending on Twitter today. So, if you do not know what pegging is, although I'm pretty sure most of you know, it's when a man desires to be taken up the tushy by a woman. And the woman uses a strap-on or any other instrument capable of penetration in order to ride the man. Now, if you want to be more progressive about it, as the paper likes to say, it's not necessarily a woman. It can also be a person without a penis. Okay, you fucking bigot? So, imagine being the person who has to explain pegging to the queen. Oh, fuck off. Like, I'm pretty sure the queen is absolutely aware. Dude, like, aristocrats, they have some of the most bizarre lifestyles imaginable. I mean, think about it. Like, it is very easy to understand why that is. Like, imagine you have all the money in the world, right? Like, you have the money that the royalties have. Everything you want can be yours. Like, literally everything. You walk on the street, you see a building that you like, you can buy it the next day. Okay? Like, you do not want for anything. So the only thing that you could possibly want is the extravagant, usually the corporeal, the flesh. So I'm pretty sure this is why, you know, most aristocrats are into bizarre things. Because normal people don't have time for this shit. Like, if you're a guy working 12 hours a day to provide for your family, you don't have time for this type of shit. This is nonsense. Only university students in California, yeah, and royalty have time for pegging. Did you think, like, working class people have time for this? Like, maybe they have the kick, but when are they going to find time to satisfy their desire? Like, they have to go to work tomorrow. My face has been back for a couple of episodes. Please watch me more regularly, bigot. So anyway, apparently Google says that pegging spiked by 400% today. A testament in the interests of people to find out about the sexual preferences of Prince Harry. This is salacious. I'm always too shook to share with you. This British royal extramarital... okay, so there was a post by Dumoy which broke the buck, I was going to say, broke the story. This is so salacious. I'm almost too shook to share with you. This British royal extramarital affair is an open secret in London and amongst the English aristocrats, and is the talk of every party. I was told the real reason for the affair was the royal love of pegging, which the wife is far too old-fashioned to engage in, okay, chat? Do we understand what we're talking about? Meghan Markle is too old-fashioned to engage in this activity. The wife doesn't mind her and in fact prefers her husband getting his sexual needs fulfilled elsewhere as long as things don't become emotional, which was the cause with the last woman. So I just wanna wonder one thing, all right? Like let's assume that the man really, does have an extramarital affair and he actually does enjoy whatever. Why the fuck would he tell this to other people? Like, why can't he just say that he's got like an extramarital affair? Why does he have to go into the details? What is wrong with people? Like, whatever happened with keeping it in the fucking bedroom? I mean, how can you respect people that, like, obviously, everyone has bizarre fetishes and stuff. But even so, and I just want to point out that now corporations are making fun of him. Like, look here, chat. No, seriously, look at this. Look, chat, look. Ryanair. Prince William, we saved you a seat. Chat, this is... I'm really curious, like, the person operating this Twitter, right? Because, like, they're not the company. It's just like an intern that operates this Twitter. I'm really curious, like, how did he get permission to tweet this? Like, how did he manage to, like... Did he call his supervisor? It's like, look, Frank. What's going on, Stu? What do you have for me? I have the best joke ever. Like, we can take advantage of the fact that it's trending right now. And we can put this on, like, do you think it's okay? Like, are we going to get sued? Or do you think they just did it? They just did it and then they had to take it down. Prince of Peking. So. See, I like doing VTubing because, like, when I yawn, I don't even have to cover my mouth. Apparently, this was not trending just in the UK, chat. This was trending on a global scale. Like, there's probably people in China twatting about this. It also gave fuel to the fan base, Team Cambridge versus Team Sussex, to offer their opinions on the somewhat shocking story. One fan of the Sussex squad dove right into the heart of the family feud and wrote, "I don't care if Prince William indulges in extramarital affairs. I don't care if he likes a little bit of pegging. I do care that he and his wife used Meghan as a distraction from their lives being talked about." I really disagree with this guy's takes. There used to be, at least in my country, I don't know why I keep comparing myself to other, why I keep comparing my countries to others, but the whole thing is, like, if you want to be a public person, right, and you want to have public takes, at least your life should be in order, right? Because, like, you shouldn't give advice to other people if your life is bizarre. Let's put it like this. So, like, when Prince Harry goes on and talks about, the environment and what we need to do and what we... You need to respect your vows, motherfucker. Like, you made the vow, didn't you? Right? Like, do vows mean nothing? Like, why would I listen to someone who breaks his vows? I mean, I generally, like, you know, like, all this thing about marriage and whatnot. Like, if you want to have sex outside of marriage, that's fine. But, like, you made a vow, right? So if a person doesn't respect their vows, like why would I need to listen to them? Why would I need to give a shit about what they have to say? Oh my god, Field of Bears, I missed you. Never be pegged, just get a real boyfriend and be a gay man instead. It's more wholesome. Well, I think he may like women, but you know, they don't come with the plumbing equipped, so he's doing what he can, man. Those look like economy row seats. That stuff is not for the Spanish royal family, not the British. Just don't look into the joke. Don't look into the joke, because you're not going to like what you find. Just take the humor. Just take the lulzy. God damn it. Ruining the fucking joke. Yes, so apparently Prince Harry... Well, I don't know if it's like cheating, because apparently he's got the consent from his wife. But like, think about it this way, right? Like, he's got a kid. Archie, I believe. Imagine when the kid grows up and he's like 14 years old and finds out about the fact that daddy likes to get pegged by another woman. Like, again, why would you talk about it is what I don't understand. Like, why can't you just leave it at the fact that you have an affair? I mean, many royals... They had concubines and various affairs and stuff, right? Why can't you leave it like that? Why do you have to go into the details? Why do you have to give all the spicy details and go into like what kinks and what fetishes? It's just fucking bizarre. It's still adultery. Yeah, but like in one case, you made a vow, and in the other case, you didn't, right? Like, I'm not judging from a religious standpoint. I don't give a shit about religion. I am judging from a moral standpoint. Like, if you are not a man of your word, why would you expect other people to be, right? Like, if it, you know, when it comes to giving a vow, like British people, right? Like, they also vow to serve the king. And if, like, the prince doesn't care about vows, why would people care? You can like getting your pipes cleaned with even a finger and say you are not of the alphabet community. Oh my god. It's Harry or William. I think it's Harry. Harry, yes. Like, Harry is the one with the Meghan Markle. Wait, did I get the princes wrong? Did I mistake my princes? Give me a second. Why do the articles not mention the prince? Oh, very weird. All right. Sorry, it's William. All right, it's William. Holy shit, my bad. Oh my god, why did I bring Harry into the? Oh god, chat. I made a huge mistake. Chat. It's William. I mixed my princes. Holy shit. You know, all these royals, they look the same to me, chat. All these royals, they look the same to me. It's also the fact, like, the other articles didn't even mention. Like, they just said the prince, and I was like, oh, okay. Now, what's interesting is that the statement has not been independently confirmed. So it's just a rumor. It's a rumor, but so far no one has denied it, chat. No one has denied the rumor, so... I did get debunked. Who's the pegger? They don't say. They just say it's an affair. You know, like, maybe if I see a picture, I would be able to understand. I'll be like, ah, I see, naruhodo. You know, but like, I don't get a picture, so I don't know. Princes stopped mattering in 1776. Kinda, I guess. Like, here's the thing that I like to mind blow a lot of British people. Like, this is something that actually happens. And people don't talk about it, but every single week, the Queen meets with the British Prime Minister without cameras, okay? Like, they go and they have a chat about ruling the nation. And every single week this happens. The Queen meets the Prime Minister in a room with no cameras. What is that all about? I mean, obviously, you know, she's supposed to advise the Prime Minister. But what if she, like, doesn't advise and just orders the Prime Minister? Like, how do we know? The answer is you don't. And another good point is that the new prince, what is the name of the new prince? See, this is the problem with British culture. Like, I know a lot about the United States, but when it comes to Britain, like, holy shit, I need to brush up on my British politics. Prince Charles. There we go. So Prince Charles has made a lot of statements, especially at the World Economic Forum, that he wants to modernize the monarchy. And by modernize, he wants to have the monarchy take a front seat into leading the nation. So in other words, he wants to make the monarchy more political. Obviously, it's going to be about, you know, climate change and other stuff like that, but it's not modernizing it, that's bringing it more into tradition. So while princes and queens don't really matter now, they might matter into the future. And just so you know, like, when it comes to Britain, I mean, it's a very old family, it's very wealthy, very well connected. I would be shocked if the monarchy is not involved into politics at all. Like, I would genuinely be shocked if the monarchy doesn't have a thing to say when it comes to how Britain is being ruled. The Queen is still alive because she saved God. I'm really curious, like, how old is the British Queen? Like, she is quite an elderly lady, isn't she? Down with the monarchy, these old creeps should go. You'd be surprised just how much the United Kingdom likes their monarchy. I mean, even with all the scandals that came up, it's like the monarchy is filled with racismus, and there were a couple of racist jokes that the husband of the Queen made. British people still like the monarchy. It's kind of interesting. It's an old institution, and I personally am not a fan of monarchy. Like, I don't like the concept that I would be a subject, right? Like, someone is just born properly and they're better than me because of that. I don't really like that, but British people, they seem to enjoy it, so it's going to stay. I don't think the monarchy is going to go soon, and especially not under the Queen. Like, the Queen knew how to play her cards. Like, she maintained neutrality even when it was about Brexit. She didn't have any statement on the matter. Like, she kept away from politics. And that's pretty much what you want to do, right? Because, like, there are just so many privileges that come with being part of the monarchy. Like, you don't pay taxes. I mean, holy shit. Who the fuck doesn't pay taxes? Imagine liking democracy. I don't like democracy, but it's better than monarchy, that's for sure. And if you happen to get stuff, like look, the new prince, right? Like Prince Harry. He literally states that everything that the World Economic Forum says he agrees with. Why would you, like, how do you get rid of a king like that? Like, what exactly do you do if you don't like that king? Like, nothing. Jack shit. Meanwhile, let me show you what Romania did. According to the, you know, like the plans, the World Economic Forum, blah, blah, blah. Let me show you what Chad Romania did. And this is pretty much what most people don't understand, is that when things don't go your way in politics, they might not go your way because there are actual other people that disagree with you. Like, there are people who want safety over liberty. But in the case of Romania, look at this. There was an underground disinformation campaign which encouraged some people not to submit their data for the census, despite the threat of a hefty fine. The pandemic proved one essential aspect about Romanians. They don't trust authorities, they don't trust the state, they don't trust bureaucrats, and the attempt to digitalize Romania simply failed. The online census platform had technical issues. The INS admitted this, and it resulted in millions of invalidated questionnaires. So this is regarding the census that the government tried to do in our country. And I just want to say that they even entice people to submit data into the census by giving you a day off work. So if you completed the census, you would get a day off work, or if you didn't complete the census, you would get a fine. And even with all that, most people didn't trust the state, didn't submit that information. Okay? So, with this, how would you have, like QR codes and stuff like that? Like, people just don't want to digitalize. They fucking flat out refuse. Most people that I know in Romania, they do not keep their money in the bank and they do not use credit cards. Like, the government forced Romanians to have credit cards. Like, if you want to get your pension, if you want to get your wage, you gotta have a credit card. So what people do is, like, the moment they get the salary, like literally the day they get paid, they go with their credit cards to the ATM and they withdraw every single cent. And then they spend cash. Because you know why? They don't trust the authorities, they don't trust the state, and they don't trust the bureaucrats, they don't trust the banks. But this is like the difference between a culture that lived under tyranny, a culture that understands the problems with trusting authorities, versus a culture that didn't. So yeah, like, democracy legitimately works. Like, if the overwhelming amount of people do not trust the government, then you have democracy. But if you have people that want safety, if you want people that, they think like the government can save them and shit, then you got more of the United Kingdom, you got Germany, you get Austria. It really depends. It's all about the grassroots. It's all about the culture. Like, legitimately, the people get the politicians they deserve. 50% plus of Americans don't pay taxes. I don't fucking believe that statistic. I genuinely do not believe that statistic. What is my thought about California migrating to Mexico? I think that if Donald Trump gets elected again, the next elections, Mexico is actually going to pay for that fucking wall. They're going to pay for that fucking wall, not so that Mexicans don't go to America, so that Americans don't go to Mexico. I mean, what can I say? I predicted this shit. I genuinely at first made a joke that if things go the way they are, you're going to have Americans fleeing to Mexico for safety. What the fuck is happening right now? You have Americans fleeing to Mexico for fucking safety. Like, what more do you want? They're gonna stay there? I don't know. Like, it seems that most of the migration is by temporary workers. So people who work part-time, they go there and then they come back, right? So they send the money back. But this is the start. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen within a couple of years. And it really depends on how bad things are really gonna get. I have seen Democrats, like the New York mayor, talking ill about immigration. Like, that blew my fucking mind, like, noni. So you have, like, the mayor of New York recently saying, oh, well, all these immigrants coming here, they're going to collapse our infrastructure. They're going to be unsustainable and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, like, really, all the talking points that the skeptic community had in 2016, now it's by the Democratic mayor of New York? Are you fucking insane? Like, really? Ever seen a black Mexican family that aren't any? I'm pretty sure there are. But the thing is, like, I haven't seen many Mexican families to begin with. I've never went to Mexico. So I genuinely don't know. It would be interesting, though, like, if like, all the crime from Mexico goes to the United States, right? And all of the the Americans that aren't interested in doing crimes go to Mexico. Like that would be an interesting thing. Still, the main problem is that the Americans that go to Mexico, they have a lot of money to spend, so they drive the prices up in all of the cities that they're going to, and the locals there, they're having a bad time. But I'm really curious to see how the left is going to moan about it, because I thought they wanted no borders, right? Like no borders, no nations. I'm pretty sure like the tune is going to change. Yeah, see, I told you there must be black Mexican family. I am willing to bet, like I don't know for sure, but I am willing to bet that the black families in Mexico have a lot smaller divorce rates than they have in the United States. And I'm also thinking that the black people in Mexico have a lot more peaceful communities than the ones in the United States. I'm really curious about this. I would have to look at a chart. Because I know, like, when you compare the UK to the US, it's the way I say it. Like, in the UK, there's stable marriages. Black people are doing far better. And the United States, they aren't. Thomas Sowell explains very well why this is the case. The DC mayor is asking for the National Guard. Get the fuck out. Like, that would be a new development. I haven't heard about it, but it would be absolutely hilarious. Lightfoot would be the new president. Oh, that would be... Oh my god, like, I would love to see that. You know what? Have her as vice president. And then the president resigns and she becomes full president. By the way, I want to show something. And I want to ask you guys whether or not... Like, this is probably going to be on my tomorrow's video. But I want to ask you, like, whether or not this is true. Because I noticed it on my television. And I was like, there's no fucking way. So... This is, I believe, from Germany, but it's the same in Romania. And I'm curious, like, if it's the same in your country, right? Like, before I make the video, because I don't want to make an ass of myself. But, did you notice how the map is now fucking red? Right? And I was thinking, like, dude, like, it wasn't always like this, right? I mean, it's not that just it's red. But you have, like, even the low temperatures, like 19 is yellow. Like, get the fuck out. You know, 20 is yellow. And then you go, like, to 23. Like, okay, I get why 28 would be red, right? Like, 32 would be red. Yeah, because, like, 32 is actually fucking hot. But when you look at 20 and 19, like, get the fuck out. These shouldn't be yellow. 24 shouldn't be red. And this is not the only one. Like, I've seen, like, 5 or 6, and I see it in my country. Like, I genuinely don't know if this is fabricated or not. But, like, this is how it used to be. Like, this is legitimately how it used to be. It's in Germany and in Great Britain. Yeah. Because I was, like, going down, you know, like, it was, I think in the beginning of April. And I was looking at the, like my wife had the television open and she was watching the weather channel. And it was, like, this big red map. And I was like, why the fuck is the map red? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I was looking at the temperature and it's like, I mean... They're not even, like, warm. They were, like, 21, 20. It's like, when you go out, you still need to put a jacket on. Like, what the fuck? Like, red? Really? And then, you know, like, when you take all the news and you put it together, it's like, look at this. Finland is warming faster than the rest of the world. Canada is warming twice as fast than the rest of the world. Australia is heating up faster than the rest of the world. And you're like, how the fuck is it possible? Like, the entire world is heating up faster than the rest of the fucking world? Right? Like everything is warming faster than the rest of the world? And what the fuck is left at this point? China is heating up twice as fast than the rest of the world. Israel warming up twice as fast than the rest of the world. It's like, motherfucker. This is a little bit bizarre. Give the commies a free trip to Canada. Make California great again. Holy shit. Canada is actually becoming an authoritarian hellhole. Not as bad as Australia, yeah, but still. That was a meme 2-3 years ago. I don't know what it was. I just got it, and like what? Why? The thing is, right? Like you can't really blame people for not asking questions because like you don't get to see all the headlines put next to each other. But when you put all the headlines next to each other, you start to wonder. It's like, okay, but like, what the fuck? Yeah, the thing with Canada is that recently they said they're going to fuck their farmers as well. So they're going to take 30% off. Sorry, they're going to ban 30% of fertilizer, which means that the food prices are going to raise by 30%. I mean, it's going to be really bad. See, the thing that I believe, and this is just my personal belief, I don't have any evidence for it or whatnot, but it's kind of supported in reality. Like all this World Economic Forum and all of this nonsense, it's not about saving the planet because these people, they have private jets, they have like all their mansions. It's not necessarily about them getting rich. I mean, it is in a way, but hear me out. If you ask any single economist, they will say that the current financial system is unsustainable. There's too much debt. So what happened was that the moment politicians realized that they can promise people free shit, they would go out and say, hey, vote for me and I'll give you free shit. Vote for me and I'll give you free education. I'll give you free this. I'll give you free that. And once they got in power, they lent money. Like the advantage of being a politician is that when you lend money, you don't have to pay for it yourself. So if you start your own business and you lend money and you can't pay, well, then you default and the bank takes your assets. If you start a private loan or a mortgage, the bank takes your house. But if you're a politician and you make a huge loan, you don't have to pay it. The people will pay it. So you kept having politicians that lend and lend and lend, and now the debt is so fucking colossal that it can never be paid. Like someone made the calculation, even if you were to sell every single asset in the United States, you still wouldn't be able to pay the debt. So the collapse is coming, like a financial collapse. Now this has happened in history in other nations, and it's really, really bad. I mean, you guys just don't want to know how bad food riots can be, right? Like if you think that the George Floyd protests were bad, I mean, if you actually have a financial collapse where the dollar is completely worthless and it's paper, like you had in Weimar Germany, I mean, holy fucking shit, right? Because what happens is that the police collapses, the military collapses, like it would be anarchy, right? So bad things are coming. Now, the people that are rich, they want to remain rich. The people in power, they want to remain in power. So what do? They want to do like a controlled demolition. In other words, the collapse is inevitable, but they want to be in control of it. So first, they want to make sure that everything is surveilled so that people, when they riot, it's not going to be as bad because they can find out who the heads of the rioters are. They can arrest them before they go out. Like in China, you had people rioting against the banks and the government moved their health passes from green to red so they can't travel, right? Now, the thing with like eating the bugs and all of this, it's like taking down the food by 30%. I think they want to ease people into the concept of hunger. Because if you like have no food from today to tomorrow, like all of a sudden the shelves are empty, people panic, people freak out, and they riot. But if you're slowly being eased into the hunger, like there's just little food this year, and next year there's a little less, and the next year after that there's a little bit less more. People get accustomed to the fact that there's no food. They get accustomed to the empty shelves. They get like, it's normalizing. So I think this is what they're trying to accomplish. It's just like the collapse will happen, but they want to do it at a slow pace in a controlled manner so people don't go out on the streets and riot. Right. The return to feudalism. Well, okay, so what is corruption? Like, corruption is when the people in power take money from the taxes for their own personal benefits, right? So, like, when a king takes money from within the coffers in order to have like luxurious parties and stuff like that, right? Like that's corruption. But in a democracy, the people are the ones in power, and what happens if the people themselves are corrupt? Like, what happens if the people vote for themselves money? You know, they vote all these privileges and luxuries and welfare and stuff. Like, what happens then? And the answer is, like, the only solution for that is to get tyranny. It's like the people in power are just going to take control, and they're going to tell, you know, like the citizens, like, no, you're going to stop doing this shit because it's not sustainable. And that's pretty much what I think is happening right now. Like, you have the people in power reining all of this back in. And they have to do it in a way so that people don't rebel and don't revolt. And they do it slowly and gradually. It's not about benevolence. Like, I don't think, like, the people in power, like, genuinely give a shit about your own good. It's about them protecting their status quo. Like, they still want to remain, you know, like, all of this great reset type of shit. Like, they already talk about how the rich are still going to be rich. It's not about, like, the rich being resetted. You mean like just over half of the US population? Yes. Can't control this? I mean, I don't know if they will be able to or not, but I saw how quickly Canada managed to fix the trucking protests. I mean, most nations in the world, even authoritarian nations, even communist nations, they're afraid of trucker protesting. So when I saw Trudeau antagonizing the truckers, I was like, oh my fucking god, is he for real? And the way they managed to fix the trucker protests is by getting the banks to seize their assets. Because you live in an age of digital economy, and that is something that you can do now, but you weren't able to do 20 years ago. Like, 20 years ago, the Canadian government would have had no answer to the trucker protest. Like, none whatsoever. Unless they wanted to do a Tiananmen Square or some shit. But now they managed to so swiftly fix the trucker strike. They were just like, okay, well, we're seizing your assets. And the truckers have to go home. Like, how do you pay for gas? What do you do? The Cope answer from people that can't accept this is a global conspiracy. So the thing with the global conspiracy, like, first of all, it's not a conspiracy because conspiracy implies secrecy, right? The World Economic Forum has public websites. It's got Klaus Schwab published books. Like, it's all in the open. They flat out say what they want to accomplish. It's no conspiracy at all. But at the same time, assuming that just because the elites want to do something, it runs like a well-oiled machine, that's absolutely ridiculous. Human beings do not work this way, right? Like, just because someone graduated Klaus Schwab's, what was it, like School for Young Leaders or whatever, doesn't mean that they are now a puppet of Klaus. That doesn't mean that they're going to follow marching orders. Now, it doesn't mean the opposite either, that they're completely independent, but, I mean, anyone that ran a guild in World of Warcraft or an MMO, or anyone that had a job and hired people, like, you know, human beings, like, they don't, quote-unquote, follow the plan. So, that is, like, I guess, like, a general guideline that the elites want people to follow. But at the same time, there's a lot of variables, there's moving pieces, like, people will not comply all the time. So, you know, like in the case of Romania, for example. In the case of Romania, if they refuse to digitalize, and if they refuse to use banks and they want to just use paper cash, there's not much the elites can do. I mean, if the Romanian people distrust the government, what can you do more than that, right? Like, what? Yeah, and by the way, about Bitcoin and shit, I'll tell you something else. Like, I am really annoyed with the number of people that keep telling me to invest in crypto. This is a life rule for myself. Like, you do whatever you want, but for myself, I don't like to invest in things that have an ideology behind them, right? So, like, when you come to me, it's like, and you're treating crypto like it's the coming of Jesus, I'm not interested, right? Like, anything that requires an ideology is something that I don't like. Do you know what I like? Gold, silver, and houses, and land. Okay, like, I don't think there has been a time in human history where the price of gold, silver, land, or housing has dropped to zero. So, like, tell me why I should invest in crypto over buying a house and selling it later, or renting it. Like, why would I do that? Oh yeah, but like, crypto isn't controllable. Okay, like, under communism, we didn't have crypto. We had the pack of coffee and the pack of cigarette. You have the pack of cigarettes, you sell it to another person for favors. Right? Now, regarding crypto, if you have a power outage, what the fuck do you do? What do you do? There's no power. There's no, they cut the internet. Let's say they want to cut the internet. How do you access it? Now, if you have a house and it's yours, I mean, sure, you know, you can say, well, they're going to take it. Okay, fine. I mean, I guess at that point, they can also take your crypto. I mean, I don't know if people have been following, but the guys that came up with Bitcoin, they're talking about working hand in hand with the government to remove anonymity. Like, they don't seem to be the type of people that are ideologically oriented as much as the people who buy the crypto. Now, again, you know, like, you guys do whatever you want. I'm not telling people to buy or not to buy, but I'm telling you, like, for myself, if I have to buy, I would buy silver, or I would buy gold, or I would buy land. Assuming that I would even have money to buy. Because, like, this is another thing. You know, like, people keep telling me to invest in shit. But in order to invest, you need to have money to invest. I don't fucking have money to invest. I have a mortgage. Like, after I finish paying my mortgage, then I can invest in something. And it's definitely not going to be crypto. I don't think you're paranoid, Billy Blogs. I'm just telling, like, why I wouldn't invest in crypto. If you don't have internet or electricity, then your country has already fallen apart. No, that's not true. Like, look at Ukraine, right? So, the war in Ukraine. If the Russians were to cut down the electricity for, I don't know, like a city, right? So you now no longer have internet. How do you access your cash? Answer, you don't. Now, if you have silver coins or you have gold coins or whatever, if you have an apartment you can rent, you can still make money. But if you don't, like, what do you do? What do you do? There's no electricity. What the fuck do you do? And not to mention, due to the shortages in gas, and due to the fact that the Russians are cutting the gas in Germany and whatnot, the Germans are already talking about power outages, because, like, all the people who use gas are now going to use electricity. So, if there's guys, can you please, hold on, Jesus. Can you please ban the bot? Report, no. There we go. Honest to God, like, what the fuck is up with the bots on YouTube, man? I mean, I looked at some streamers, and it's like, at some point, it's almost like half the comments are bots. Especially on VTubers channels. Like, it's so fucking bizarre. They're everywhere. I mean, on my stream, I got 300 viewers right now. Like, thank you for watching. But I'm a small streamer. I mean, I'm not really big, and I still get bots. And I generally don't think that the bots that I'm having are like directed at me personally. It's like, no, they're running amok. I release a video, and within a couple of seconds, I see the bots in the chat. Why can't YouTube get a handle on this shit? I'm really glad that if there's a racist joke, if there's racismus in the comment section, oh, they're immediately on that. But when there's bots and other things, it's almost like they don't notice them. Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be fucking surprised if it's 100 viewers and 200 bots. I don't think that every product or service that uses bots should be boycotted, because then you'd boycott everything. Like, I don't think there has been a video game or that there has been a social media website that doesn't have bots. Like all of them have it. But the question is like the quantity of it. And recently, I'm seeing more bots on YouTube than I have ever seen on this platform, ever. And I've been using it for quite a while. Since grandma was in diapers, I was using YouTube, and it had less bots than it has today. Switch and Adam get them at 2K. Destiny seems to not get spammed. I generally don't know where the bots are coming from, or who makes them, or who who gets them. It seems to be very random. Oh yeah, I've seen them everywhere. I'm talking about a 0-day situation where there is some sort of calamity or catastrophe. I mean, yeah, like if blackouts happen, and they might happen this winter, according to European experts, right? If you have a blackout that you don't have access to internet, I would rather have the currency in hand. Like, I would rather, I would feel more comfortable. Like, if you have an apartment that you can rent, you get actual cash. Like, you can ask for actual paper money. I don't know, like here in Romania, paper is sacred. I don't like plastic. The moment I get my my money, I immediately transfer it into paper. Every crisis has been man-made? No, I disagree. A tsunami is a crisis that's not man-made. A hurricane is a crisis that's not... An earthquake, you know, like... I don't think, like, every crisis is man-made. There's another thing, though. Like, when you have a crisis, a lot of politicians can try to push for legislation that normally they wouldn't be able to push. So, for example, in the United States, right? Like, the classic, ban the guns. They're waiting for an event. Like for example, Trudeau in Canada wanted to ban the guns. What did he do? He waited for a mass shooter in the US. And then he said, oh, well, because it happened in the US, we're going to ban guns in Canada. And I'm willing to bet Canadians are okay with that. Like most Canadians in the city. Like here's the thing with guns, right? And I said this a couple of times, but it bears repeating. If you live in the countryside, where you can have a bear or a moose running up on your property where your kids are playing and you have no other alternative, like by the time you call the cops, it takes them 30, maybe 40 minutes to get there, then most people want to have a gun, right? Because they, at the end of the day, the police officer coming, he brings a gun as well, right? So why not just skip a step? But then you have the people in the city. Now, the people in the city, they don't have mooses and bears. Allegedly, like in some places in Canada, you do have them. But in the city, it's not like that. And on top of that, like when you call the cops, they're there within minutes. So people in the city don't really care about guns as much. Plus, you know, maybe they live in an area with high gang warfare and they keep hearing shootings outside their windows. And it's like, oh, I would rather not hear them. So they vote differently. Like they think differently. They have a different mentality. Sometimes you just have to put the boost down. Man, I was talking with Arch Warhammer, and I hear these like loud banging noises, and I think it was like 2 a.m. in Norway. And I asked Arch, it's like, what the fuck is happening, man? It's like, you know, like is someone trying to knock over your house? And he's like, oh no, there's the moose outside that is sharpening its antlers to my house. And I'm like, how the fuck can you live like that? Like, he lives in the middle of the forest or something, and it's like, those things are very dangerous, by the way. Like, if they catch you, they can trample you. Like there have been people killed by moose. It's not a funny story. Yes, Romania does have wolves, but I don't think like there has been a case where a person has been killed by wolves. There have been cases where people have been mauled by mooses, though. It's not funny, man. It's some scary shit. Anyway, right, so thank you guys for watching. Maybe I'll do this next time as well. I'll have a video on my main channel and redirect people here. I'll do it when I have something interesting to talk about, because I don't want to bore you. I stream every day, but I don't want to make boring streams, right, and waste your time. So when I have an interesting subject, when I think that there's going to be an interesting stream, I will do a redirect from my main channel. I would also like you to tell me which co-host you like the most. So I have Spooky, which has a little bit of a disturbing avatar. I'll see if I can... I got along fine with him, right? But still, I understand why some more conservative people don't like the avatar. And I also want to ask you about Tomoe. Now, Tomoe is... I didn't think that she had the same appeal like Spooky with the audience, but this is why I'm going to ask you guys. So let me know in the comment section which co-host you like the most. Because I want to have, you know, like more co-hosts like, while talking about the news, because it's better when the banter is flowing and you say something, the other person says something. It's a lot more interesting than when I'm just talking to chat. Thank you, Todd Sullivan, for the $5. I appreciate it. And we'll see. So I'll see you guys in the comment section.